These days, home buyers are looking for real value. And while price is important, real value isn't just about today, it's also about all the days to come. Because as the years go by, a well-designed home will improve your life. And a well-built home will keep looking good day after day. At Dale Alcock Homes, we've built a reputation for homes that are good value for today and for tomorrow.
Niki Peinke started her real estate career in 1988, selling residential properties in Subiaco and surrounding areas, and was the top salesperson in her company for 5 years running. Niki then joined forces with Janie Sanderson to create the Property Exchange in 1997. She is now the sole owner and is this week's Insider.
Well, before I got into real estate, I started out my working life as a psychologist, which I did for a few years, and then I moved into hospitality. And from there, I opened my own restaurant, and that was when that got sold, then I got into real estate. Well, just prior to being in real estate, I was running my own restaurant, and I was 3 weeks away from having a baby when my doctor banned me from the restaurant. So instead of becoming totally bored, I did the real estate course. And then about a year later, the restaurant closed, and I was blissfully unemployed, which made real estate look very attractive. Yes, I remember my first sale really well. It was to my best friend. I rang her up to tell her I was in real estate and asked her if she'd like to move. She wasn't all that keen, but she said if I could get her into Park Street, she would move. And the first door I knocked on in Park Street, they decided to sell. And yeah, so she moved in there and she's been there ever since. So that was great. Well, there have been many, because real estate is all about people, and in this industry you meet the good, the bad, the ugly, every different characteristic you can come across. So yes, a lot of people do some surprising things that used to amaze me, but after 22 years in the business, I think I've seen it all. Well, I'd advise them first of all to carefully consider whether they want to work with people, because it's all about the people, it's not about the money. And then I would suggest that they choose a supportive agency to work with, but not to depend on them for their business. And just be very persistent and always operate at a very high level of integrity. And then they will succeed. Well, we've always had a very consistent, stable market in WA, usually going up by 10% a year on average. And in 2006, we had a sharp rise and we've had a sharp fall. And now it's actually just returning to being a very normal market, very balanced between buyers and sellers. And I think that it offers a lot of opportunities for both buyers and sellers at this point of time. Well, my advice is always around what I call the 3 Ps, which is pricing. You've got to be realistic in your pricing in this market. Presentation, I'm very big on presentation, so present the property as well as you possibly can, and then choose an agent who's really going to market it proactively. And that means getting it out to as many people in the shortest possible time, and then you should be very successful. Well, for those looking to buy, I would suggest they buy as soon as possible, because I think we're in a rising market now, and so the earlier the better. And if you are looking to buy, if you can make yourself cashed up and in a really good position to buy, you will buy better. My advice for them is don't panic. Don't rush into buying now just because of the first homeowners grant, because I think that that sector of the market is a little overpriced. So waiting a little while won't do you any harm. I think we're just returning to a normal market now, and in that way I think it's going to become a lot more balanced between buyers and sellers, and we will start seeing prices rise again. Not dramatically, but I think we will get back into our normal 10% rise within the next 12 months. Well, I was given a very useful piece of advice many, many years ago, and that was to always buy a property as close as possible to where you want to end up. I did that, and I'm very glad I did that, so I will stick with that piece of advice.
After the break, Phil explains why money is not evil.
But most importantly, the more money you have, the more options you have.